In the heart of the African plains, where the sun paints the land gold and the wind carries the scent of ripened earth, there once lived a man whose wisdom was as vast as his fields. His story, and that of his 3 sons, became a timeless lesson told around village fires for generations. It is said that the land remembers the hands that care for it, and the hearts that turn away from one another. This is the story of the 3 farms and the broken fence. In a land kissed by a generous son, there lived a father named Jabari. Jabari was known throughout the valley for his strength, his wisdom, and the 3 farms he tended. Each farm was a jewel. One grew the sweetest yams, so deep and orange they tasted like sunshine. Another burst with millet, its golden heads dancing in the wind. The third was a vineyard, heavy with grapes that promised the richest wine. Jabari had 3 sons, each as different as the farms they would one day inherit. Kofi, the eldest, was strong like an ox. He believed in hard work above all. His back was broad and his words were few. Tunde, the middle son, was clever with numbers. He could calculate the yield of a harvest before the first seed was sown. He saw the world in profits and losses. Chidi, the youngest, had a heart full of song and stories. He believed the land had a spirit. He would talk to the crops and play his flute for the vines. For many years they worked together under their father's watchful eye. Jabari would say, "A single stick is easily broken, but a bundle of sticks is strong. You are my bundle. Together you are unbreakable." He made them build a fence that ran between all 3 farms. It was not a fence of sharp wood or cold stone. It was a living fence, woven from strong, flexible vines. "This fence," Jabari said, "does not separate you. It connects you. Its strength is your unity." But time, like a river, flows only one way. The seasons turned, and the day came when Jabari's breath grew shallow. He called his sons to his bedside. "My sons," he whispered, his voice like dry leaves, "I leave you a great treasure. To you, Kofi, I leave the farm of yams. Your strength will make it flourish. To you, Tunde, I leave the farm of millet. Your mind will make it prosper. And to you, Chidi, I leave the vineyard. Your heart will give its wine a soul." The brothers wept and buried their father with honor. For a time they remembered his words. They shared tools. They helped with each other's harvests. The living fence between their lands remained green and strong. But slowly a poison began to creep into their hearts. It was the poison of mine. Kofi, sweating in his yam field, would look at Tunde's millet and think, "His crop sells for more. Why should my strong back help his profit?" So, when Tunde asked for help to build a new storehouse, Kofi said, "I have my own yams to dig." Tunde, counting his coins, would look at Chidi's vineyard and think, "He just sings to his grapes. My millet feeds people. His wine is for celebration. My work is more important." So, when Chidi's grapes were ready for harvest and he needed extra hands, Tunde said, "I am busy calculating my own wealth." And Chidi, feeling the coldness from his brothers, grew sad. His songs became mournful. He thought, "They do not value the spirit of the land, only what it gives them." He stopped sharing the stories that once made them laugh around the fire. The first thing to die was the shared evening meal. Then the shared tools. Suspicion grew like a weed. One day, a storm gathered over the valley. It was a terrible storm. The wind howled like a wounded beast. The rain fell in sheets. The next morning, the damage was clear. A great old tree, struck by lightning, had fallen. It had crashed directly onto the living fence between Kofi's yam field and Tunde's millet. The beautiful woven vines were shattered and torn. Kofi saw the broken fence. He thought, "Tunde will fix his side. It is not my problem." He went back to digging his yams. Tunde saw the broken fence. He thought, "Kofi is the strong one. He should repair it. It is not my duty." He went back to his accounts. Chidi saw the broken fence from his vineyard. A deep sadness filled him. He remembered his father's words, but his pride kept him silent. "They will not listen to me," he thought, and went back to his lonely songs. Without the fence, the animals came. First, the wild goats. They wandered through the broken gap and feasted on Tunde's golden millet, trampling more than they ate. Tunde was furious. He screamed at Kofi, "Your carelessness has ruined my crop. You should have fixed the fence." Kofi roared back, "My carelessness? It was on your side too. Your love of coins made you blind." While they argued, a family of warthogs found the same opening. They rooted through Kofi's yam field, tearing up the deep orange tubers, destroying a season of hard work. The brothers were devastated. But instead of uniting, they built new fences. These were not living fences of vine. They were tall, sharp fences of thorn and wood. They were fences of anger. They turned their backs on one another completely. A year passed. The 3 farms, once so beautiful, began to suffer. Kofi's yams grew, but they were small and tasteless. He did not have Tunde's cleverness to find the best buyers, and his yams sold for little. Tunde's millet grew, but a strange blight touched the leaves. He did not have Chidi's connection to the land to understand its sickness. Chidi's grapes grew, but they were sour. His songs had no joy, and the vines felt his sorrow. The wine he made was bitter. They were divided, and because they were divided, they were weak. One evening, an old woman, a traveller from a distant village, came to the valley. She went first to Kofi's farm and asked for a yam to eat. Kofi, feeling poor and bitter, gave her the smallest, most twisted yam he had. She then went to Tunde's farm and asked for a handful of millet to make porridge. Tunde, counting his losses, gave her a few grains and shooed her away. Finally, she came to Chidi's vineyard. She asked for a cup of water. Chidi, though his heart was heavy, saw her weariness. He gave her not just water, but a place to sit. He played a soft tune on his flute to comfort her. The old woman drank the water and listened to the song. Then she looked at Chidi with eyes that seemed to see everything. "This valley is filled with sorrow," she said. "I see 3 brothers living in the shadow of a great man. I see 3 farms dying of loneliness." Chidi's eyes filled with tears. Our father is gone. The unity he built is gone with him. The old woman pointed a bony finger at the tall, thorny fences. Your father did not build those. You did. He built a fence that connected. You built walls that separate. A wall around a well does not make the well deeper. It only makes everyone thirsty. She stood to leave. Your father's treasure was not the yams, the millet, or the grapes. His treasure was the bundle. You have broken the bundle. Until you mend it, this sorrow will remain. She walked away and disappeared into the twilight.
Her words echoed in Chidi's soul. He could not sleep. As the moon rose, he took an axe and went, not to his brother's thorn fences, but to the place where the old tree had fallen. He began to cut the fallen tree, piece by piece. Kofi, hearing the sound of chopping, thought Chidi was building a higher wall. He came out, angry. Tunde did the same. They found Chidi not building a wall, but clearing the ruin. He was sweating, his hands raw. "What are you doing?" Kofi demanded. Chidi stopped and looked at them, his face lit by the moon. "I am clearing the path our father made for us. I am tired of being thirsty. I am tired of the silence." He told them what the old woman had said. She was right. We are dying of loneliness. Our farms are dying because we are no longer a bundle. A deep silence fell upon them. In the moonlight, they saw the truth. They saw their own pride, their own selfishness. Without a word, Kofi, the strong one, picked up a heavier axe and joined Chidi. Tunde, the clever one, started designing how to weave the new vines stronger than before. They worked through the night. As the sun rose, the thorn fences were gone. In their place, they began to build a new living fence. They worked together for days. A wonderful thing began to happen. As they worked side by side, Kofi's strength helped Tunde build a new storehouse. Tunde's cleverness found a cure for the blight on the millet, and Chidi's joyful songs returned, filling the valley with music. The sour grapes on his vines began to sweeten. The yams grew large and sweet again. The millet stood tall and golden. The grapes burst with juice. That year, they had the greatest harvest the valley had ever seen. They held a great feast for the entire village. They shared the yams, the millet porridge, and the sweet, rich wine. And as they sat together, laughing, they finally understood their father's treasure. The true wealth was not in the land they owned, but in the brothers they had in each other. The fence was not to mark what was theirs, but to remind them of what they shared. And so, the bundle was bound again, stronger than ever before. For they had learned that division brings hunger, but unity brings a feast. The moral of the story: pride and selfishness can destroy even the strongest family, but unity makes people strong. and keeps love alive. A fence should connect hearts, not separate them. Because true wealth is not found in land or riches, but in peace, love, and togetherness. When people work together, even what was once broken can grow strong again. Anger builds walls, but kindness builds bridges. A family that stays united will always have a feast, no matter how small their farms are. This is where the story ends, but the lesson never ends. If you love cautionary folk tales with timeless lessons, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.